Hey guys, it's MongolianMindset. We got one of our members here today. We'll be helping them find their personality type. Man, you don't have to go into anything you're not comfortable with, but what you do say I will use to find your best fit type. Can you introduce yourself?
Hi, I am Jack. That's how most people know me. If you've been in Ego Hackers, I've been there. Not a member yet. I was waiting for this session to join the server. Um, 24. I game. I'm at work right now, do data entry. I don't know. I never know how to answer those questions of who are you?
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years?
Ooh, finding some kind of career to take care of my family. Both answers. Whatever I can do to make the most money for that.
Whatever you can do to make the most money.
Mm,
That's interesting. Okay.
because I want to take care of them, make sure they have everything they need.
Okay. What do you think you struggle with?
In what regard?
Just like day to day. Like what is like a certain thing you think you struggle with?
Prioritizing things. I often end up failing in just knowing what should be done when because I could see just everything that could go wrong with something I do or don't do. So I end up in analysis paralysis
Hmm.
and it leads to me misprioritizing things.
Okay, okay, okay. What do you think are your best skills?
Adaptation. It's one of those generic ones, but it really is one of my best skills is I can learn something fast enough to be proficient. Takes a lot longer for me to be a master at it, but it's very easy for me to be proficient in anything.
Hmm. What do you
I can
think?
pick it up and run.
Where do you think you get that skill from?
No. It's once I understand the basics of something, it's like with math. Once you understand the basic principles of everything, it seems like everything else just kind of falls into place and just makes sense.
Uh, if you were to start a business, what do you think you would what like field do you think you would go into?
Wow. I don't know what what the field is called, but I want to start like a community center
Hmm.
where I'm just kind of that cliche kids aren't taught what they need to be taught in order to be healthy adults. So I want to build a community center where they can ask these questions. They can um, get the help they need when they don't have it available in the rest of their lives. I don't know what field that falls under, but if I were to start a business, that's what it would be.
Okay, okay. Could you give us 3 words to describe you?
Methodical, uh, dependable, uh, prepared. I haven't answered a question like that since my first job interview.
Yeah. First job interview. How'd that
Yeah,
go?
I don't remember. It went okay. It was for a Walgreens, and it was just that cliche. You're a teenager and you just take the first job you can get.
Okay. What do you think are the best aspects of life and what are the worst aspects of life?
Best aspect of life is seeing the happiness that you can cause, the ways that you can help other people, the ways that you can make other people's lives better, help them in any other form. worst aspects of life is seeing people kind of destroy that or just do the opposite. So people who break down, like not even constructive criticism, just criticism for no reason
Hmm.
is something I absolutely hate. But the opposite side of the coin of that constructive criticism where it's trying to build up is something that I really do love.
Hmm. Okay. Uh, what do you think you need to be at your best?
Trust. I need people to, in any situation, I need them to trust me. Because even if I can't perform or if for some reason I'm going to fall short, if people trust that I can do better, then it drives me very hard to be better.
Hmm.
What happens if people don't trust you?
I end up performing less. I end up kind of shutting them out a little bit. If it's justified trust, like if I failed 15 times and they don't trust me to succeed, that makes sense. But if it's just like not even giving me the chance, I just don't want to do it anymore. And I put in bare minimum work. Or if I'm angry enough, I will blow their expectations out of the water just to say I told you so.
Okay. What what do people do that upsets you? Or what behaviors?
Uh, like I said before, the non-constructive criticism, um, not listening, not giving the benefit of the doubt, people who judge without asking any questions. I hate that so much. Is it all good if I curse? I don't know.
Yeah, go for it, go for it, go for it, go for it, man.
I hate it so fucking much when people don't ask questions. Oh my God. Like it is so easy to say, hey, what do you mean by that? Instead of, oh, you're an asshole for saying that. Like, no, you just don't understand what the fuck I'm saying. I hate it so much.
Okay. What do you think is some things that you could work on to make yourself better?
I fall into that same trap of not asking questions.
I was
I'll
gonna
assume
say
things
that.
and it's something that I'm definitely getting better at,
Mhm.
especially with the communities that I'm a part of. People call me out for it, and I'm so grateful for those people because I know it's a problem and it's led to me catching it, but it is something I definitely need to work on. That and managing my time better. I every time I lose a responsibility, I add two more, and I'm a very busy person now.
Shirley, got anything?
Yeah, sure. If you could time travel to any era, what would it be? Or when would it be?
Ooh, that's a nice. Ooh, I like that question. Let's see. If I were to go into the future, I would say 5,000 just because it's a round number and I want to see the technological advances. If I was going into the past, I would want to probably go towards like probably 30 BC just because I am so curious as to what actually happened and what didn't happen from the Bible. Like
Okay.
I'd enjoy to see Jesus.
Mm.
Okay.
Mm.
Um, if you went to jail, what would it be for?
Ugh. I have this overconfidence in me that I can talk myself out of most legal things. So it would probably end up being, if I actually did go to jail, uh, hurting someone who hurts someone I care about, because I would not deny it. I would accept it and just take the sentence.
Um,
Oh.
what do you think gets in your way of mastering things?
Lack of information. If I'm told to do a task and I'm not told the aspects of that task, I will probably end up failing. But the more information I'm given, the more likely I am to succeed and the faster I get at fully mastering the situation. Also, not being able to experiment. If people don't let me mess around with something, I cannot figure it out entirely.
What do you think is something that people misunderstand about you?
A lot of people think my thinking is black and white, and I hate it. It goes back to that whole asking questions thing, is people assume that I have this black and white way of thinking, that I can't see the nuance of a situation, that I can't change my mind. And it's, yeah, it's aggravating. I wish people would talk to me instead of judging me.
Okay. What do you think is something that could change the world that people don't do?
Small acts of kindness. I'm speaking mostly from a United States perspective, but just the tiny what goes around comes around. Oh, somebody needs help at a grocery store. They're a few bucks short. Give them a few bucks. Hand the homeless person a sandwich. Uh, pay for someone's gas. Like just these tiny little things could just spread a lot of positivity and a lot of happiness around the world. Hell, even smiling at a random passerby, that could have made their day. It's just these tiny little things that make a big, big difference.
What does success mean to you?
Not being limited, being able to do what you want, what you need without any hard roadblocks in your way that you don't want to be there.
Okay. What's your definition of life? Like, what does life mean to you?
I got two answers for this. Philosophically, it's the pursuit of happiness. It's the just trying to make sure that those you care about and yourself live a fulfilling life that you can use to leave a mark on the world and hopefully leave it better than you found it. Um, Literal purpose of life is to continue your species.
Kelly, anything?
Um, what are the three biggest problems with humanity?
Anger. Mm, anger when it clouds your judgment. Um, the desire to cause pain. Um, and neglecting basic human rights.
Okay.
Okay. If you were, let's just hypothetical situation here. If you were tasked with changing someone's life in a year, what would be the first things you would go about doing?
I would look at their financial situation or I would ask them what their aspirations were, and then I would look at their financial situation. I'm assuming I have like infinite power in this situation.
Yeah.
And so I would see what they want to do, look at their finances, and then make it possible for them to reach their goal without giving them extra. So like if they needed 10 grand to start their bakery, I would probably give them like 12 grand to make sure they have a little cushion, and then they can start their bakery and go through the trials and tribulations at the same time.
Okay.
Because those trials is what makes you grow.
Let's ramp this difficulty up. If you had to change a bum's life, right? You only have a year, and you have to make them person who can actually live on their own, right?
Mm.
You only have a year with a ball. How would you go about that? If you fail, you die.
I would identify their skill set and then find a way to get them into that field, because everyone has a set of skills that you just need to find it that just makes sense to you, that makes it so that they can just perform in. A lot of the time, at least from where I am, homeless people end up addiction is usually what gets them. So it's all about rehabbing their addiction and then finding what they're good at.
Okay. I've had somebody say they were torturable.
Oh, I
And
mean, it would change their life.
I was like, wow, I mean, I don't know how well that's gonna work. You know, in a year you're probably gonna get killed.
Yeah.
But yeah, Shelly, got anything? Shelly, I don't know if she's there. Well, Shelly, you're not speaking, so I don't know what the fuck you're doing. And I can't.
Sorry, my phone, my internet's cutting out.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll go ahead and wrap this up, man. Yeah, we got you tight, bro. So first thing we notice is whatever you can do to make money, the most money, right? That's a pragmatic statement, right? You're just trying to be effective there. Like it's not like what's the right thing to do. It's like whatever makes me the most money. That's a pragmatic statement. The big thing you said was life. I mean, you're very good at adaptation, right? So that's either a very high NE thing or SE thing, right? It's NE, like people can confuse that with SE or whatever. But regardless of the fact, it's one of the two. Okay, those types are going to be very good at adapting to situations. Basic principles. Once they like you were talking about, like how you understand things is like once you go through the basic principles, they all line up, and then you can use it from there. That was a TI statement for me. You talked about being methodical was one of the words you used, dependable and prepared. Methodical, I hit for systematic. Then you initiate a statement talking about your first job interview and the similarities between that. I hit that for SI. Then you said like if I fail 15 times and they don't trust me, then that makes sense. So that was a TI statement there. You said managing my time better was one of the things you want to work on. So that's like your TE. You want to work on your TE a little bit better there. You said I could talk my way out of anything. That's usually a any Dom thing. The ENFP and ENTP can talk them ways out of anything, you know. Um, uh, you said you need to experiment. Like if someone doesn't allow you to experiment and tinker with things, then it's not gonna work, right? That's a very anything. Any just needs to tinker and just play around, especially with that TI. It makes it a little bit more tinkering. And then you talked about small acts of kindness, right? That's FE, talking about how that can help a lot of people, just like the simple small acts of kindness. Trials and tribulations are what makes somebody. I got that for SI inferior there. Also you're informative, initiating, pragmatic. So we got you as an ENTP, and you really remind me of this guy we did on the channel named Curator. I think he types himself LIE, but I mean socionics. But I got you ENTP, and I think you're normalizing. And I will go with what Curator has for his enneagram, which is SP3 maybe. But you can also look at a 7 SP or SO. But you got any questions, man?
Uh, I don't think it's going to change anything, but just a small clarification. It's either I need time to experiment,
Mm-hmm.
or I need to have a set by set, like rule set procedure that I follow to the letter, which of course is just systematic anyway.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
I have to look into socionics and Enneagram. It seems interesting. I know nothing about it whatsoever.
Socionics, I'm not the biggest fan of, but I mean, I'll get into it eventually because they just like overhype it so much. I don't. I think the big problem with socionics is not socionics; it's the people that try to push it. and then they
Mm,
type people and they type people badly, and then it just a
mm,
bunch of bullshit.
makes sense. Yep.
So like once you start typing people bad, like Julius Caesar, they think is what did it say? ESTP. Like
Well, did they type people like it on an overview of their like who they are rather than like, breaking it down to
I'm
make sure
not
people fit certain
particularly
criteria?
sure. I'm not particularly sure what their methods are. I don't want to say it because then they may say, "Oh, you're wrong here," or whatever. But all I know is they type Julius Caesar ESTP, they type Napoleon ESTP, and that doesn't make any sense. Like anybody with like a brain would know if you are somebody and you are literally like beating other people in war, like that is very strategic. Like you have to be very strategic. I don't know if they play chess. It's not easy to win. And you talking about like you're beating the best people in the world at like these people are prepared for you. Like this don't make no sense. Like, I mean,
Yeah, well, I've seen them mistype like somebody because they're like tinkering or whatever on cars and stuff. So that automatically turned the person into an ISTP when it was clearly an INTP. So that's why I was curious if they just type based on like what the person likes to do.
like that's
That'd be fair.
Something that happened, in a server I'm in today is there's this guy who he claims he's an ESTP and they're messing around with this type. And he says everyone who is marked as a car mechanic is an ISTJ and they're not ISTPs.
wow.
If they're a car mechanic, you're an ISTJ, and that's it, according to socionics. So,
Well,
Well, I
socionics has
think they
that.
flip it around or something like
Yeah.
that or something.
Yeah.
I think they flip it around. I think the ISTJ is the ISTP in socionics.
oh, okay. Yeah, I know nothing.
I think something like that. So to me, it doesn't make much sense, really. But like I said, whatever.
Yeah, just TI in general is going to want to know how things work. So, I mean, that you don't get excluded
Yeah, I mean,
for being
like,
an NE user just because you enjoy understanding how something works. So, I don't know. But
I
in
think
socionics, that seems to be how it worked.
the NE plus TI just makes somebody super fucking curious, right? You need that NE because NE is just like constantly brainstorming and constantly generating ideas. It's the thing that gets ideas and whatnot. So then you pair that with TI that like to figure out what's going on here, and then you got somebody who's like a super curious motherfucker. Is what you'll see there because they're gonna be generating ideas. Those ideas are gonna come, and then they're gonna want to unpack those ideas, and get to the bottom of those ideas, and then more ideas are gonna come, and they're gonna want to get to the bottom of those ideas. So you got like that never-ending quest there is what I see from NETI, right? So I don't know what the hell they do. I mean, Julius Caesar, I mean, Napoleon, I mean, guy literally transformed warfare. You think it's an ESTP? That's like crazy. I mean, yeah, well, whatever. But I think Enneagram is good, but it's just such a fluid model that like it can be very hard to actually find your Enneagram because like you don't have like this particular like metrics that you can use to be like, okay, this guy's initiating, this guy's informative, this guy is, pragmatic. It's kind of like you have this vague thing and then you try to attach it to somebody. So that I think overall is a good, if you could find your Enneagram, it's a good device for actually growing because it kind of has like step-by-step things for you to address some of your traumas. A lot of people like run away from those traumas. So if you got the step-by-step of like, how do I attack the traumas that I went through? That's just going to help you, right? MBTI doesn't really talk about the traumas or anything like that. It just says, hey, this is your personality type. And these are the things that your personality type struggles with. It doesn't really say like, hey, these are things that you can do to get over SI inferior. These are the step-by-step things to get over it. These are the step-by-step things to improve FE child. These are the step-by-step things to improve, I don't really see that with MBTI. It just like functions, whatever, and go from there. It doesn't say, okay, this is how you can improve your TE critic. It doesn't really give you the step-by-step. I think if they gave you like a step-by-step, like, okay, this is how you can address this, this is how you can work on it. I think it'd be a very good vehicle. But I do like Dario Nardi's like subtype, because once I figure out this type and subtype, I can kind of figure out like where you are, like how you see things, right? And
What's the subtype?
so there's four subtypes. There's dominant, there's and that's usually the type with like more testosterone. So for an ENTP, a dominant one that I would say is like Andrew Tate, right? He's more
Okay.
dominant, right? Then there's the creative variation, right, which is like more NE. The guy I would use would be Kanye West, right? Because he's just booming. He's just like has so much NE, right? It's NE. And then like let's say for normalizing, I don't know if you guys know about like Myron Gaines or anything like that. He's very methodical. Um, like the normalizing is more conventional,
Hmm.
more methodical, more step by step, kind of blends in a little bit of chart the course into their life. And then you have the harmonized one, which is kind of like more estrogen. They're more into like relationship roles and like empathy and stuff like that. And I use the guy Mystery, the pickup artist, because he's like really big onto that for ENTPs. But there's the four subtypes. I think you're more normalizing. You seem to like be able to focus. You seem to be more conventional. You seem to be way more methodical than most ENTPs. Because ENTPs can really struggle with like being like methodical. Or staying focused on something for too long, especially the creative ones, right? Like Kanye West, he's all over the fucking place. So, and like each of those kind of like blend in. Like if you're an ENTP and you're dominant, then you're gonna have a little bit more in charge type with your start. Like you're gonna be a starter, but then you blend in a little bit of in charge into your style, right? You kind of see that with Andrew Tate. So,
Okay.
and then you blend in starter on starter. Woo! You know, you get Kanye West, crazy motherfucker, man. It's
Didn't that guy like fire his PR team because they told him he was being dumb?
dude, I don't know what the fuck he's on, dude. I mean, he just replaced his teeth with some titanium shit or something. Guys, and then he was big in the church shit, and then now he's trying to start a porn company. So the guy's all over the fucking place, man.
Why?
Bro, it's NE, man. He's got to entertain possibilities. Love it. But Dario Nardi does have this book, if you would like, it's online. We have like a code where you can like download it in the group.
Oh,
But
dope.
it has all of the like, brain scans from the different types of ENTPs or ESTP, whatever the fuck you want to look at. It's all in there. But you got any questions, man?
Mm, no, I think hey, you covered everything.
Well, man, it's been a pleasure, man. I hope to see you around, man.
Yes. I should be joining either today or tomorrow. I got some moving to do, so.
Hey, take your time, man.
Yep.
All right, brother, man. Take it easy, man. It was a pleasure.